Welcome to Africa Diaspora Culture Television. In this Ethiopian New Year, we are 10 days into the Ethiopian New Year 2018, and we are very honored today to have two representatives from the Ethiopian communities in Vienna with us today. Diakon Lisano Telahun from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Wien-Schwechat, and we also have Diplom Engineer Hailu Yasachau, the former secretary from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in Wien-Heiligenstadt, and also the initiator of a petition for us to name a street in Vienna after Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie I, and we will later talk about this more. My name is Dominik Frühwirt from the Department of African Studies at the University of Vienna, and we are very happy that you are joining us today in this very interesting talk with both representatives from the Ethiopian communities, and we would already like to go into this more. Maybe Hailu, you can already give us a little overview of the Ethiopian communities in Vienna, the history of the Ethiopian communities, maybe how long you have been here and how it has developed since then.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here. And Dominic, I appreciate your effort for the community, for Ethiopian community here. I live in Austria more than 30 years here. So the community, by then, we were most probably 200. Not more than that. By now, I don't know the exact figure of how many Ethiopians are living in Austria, but I guess it could be 1,500, between 1,500 and 2,000. Mm-hmm. That is just roughly 2,000 maximum. Well, the community is composed of different communities in the community. Now there are Muslim community, very strong, and also Protestant community. They are also very strong, good represented. And of course, we have also two Orthodox churches. And it's really going without saying, and it's part of the community, most probably the strongest. And about the church's history, we have started the church in 1997. It's a very long time, and officially recognized in 1998. We have been registered as Verein in Austria, so that we could also practice our religion. Since then we are here, and by now we are two Ethiopian Orthodox churches. That's good for the community too. More about the Schwechat Church, I guess the Diakon can go through it.
Yes, but maybe still about the earlier history. So that means the earlier history in Vienna for the Ethiopian communities, there was no Ethiopian Orthodox Church itself. It took some time until the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
Yes, we were very few in number, first of all, and there was no such a meeting point where we can meet each other. So as a very small community, we started also playing football, and we have also started the church by few numbers of people, like 5-6 people, and then it's grows little by little, you know. And now we have our churches, and we have also our priests from Ethiopia, and the community is really composed of different areas. I mean, there are also many Ethiopians who are working at the United Nations, and there are also people like me who live in Austria, and there are also enough refugees from Ethiopia, and all that makes a sense for a community, you know. So and the community, the number of the community is just getting grower and grower, of course. But still, comparing to other countries, I cannot say that we are a big community as such in Austria.
And as you said, of course, the Ethiopian communities in Vienna, they comprise of not only Ethiopian Orthodox, but also Protestant, Christian, different Christian denominations, Muslims, and maybe also other religions. But of course, Ethiopia is famous for the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Diakon Lisano, you are a diakon in one of the two churches, Ethiopian Orthodox churches in Vienna. The viewers might be interested in why was it necessary to have specifically an Ethiopian Orthodox church. Then also they might not know that Ethiopian Orthodox is a specific denomination within Christianity. Maybe you can give a little overview what is specific about the Ethiopian Orthodox and introduce it a bit to the viewers.
All right, thank you. It's a great honor to be here for the opportunity and everything. And I love the dedication you're doing on the community. And regarding the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, it's one of the Asian Christianity. It came to Ethiopia in the 4th century during the king Izana. And so the word Orthodox was given by Saint Athanasius. He gave the name Orthodox, means from the Greek word that is straight, forward. And Tawahado was after Saint Athanasius, Saint Kyrillos gave the Tawahado. So as I said, Orthodox means straightforward, and the Tawahado is that the divinity of Jesus Christ and humanity united in one nature. So this shows us, for the peoples, that we need to unite with God and to unite our communities, one each other. So when it comes to the community here in Austria, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church became a very high ranking place to gather the communities, especially because as he mentioned, it was in 1999. It was officially taught as a church by Bishop Abuna Melchizedek. So, and starting from that in 2002, we get the church in Schwerat. Since then till now, we're giving services. So this church, it doesn't mean only for prayers, but it gives us for us to gather the culture people, also where people feel home back again, because Europe, living in abroad is much more hard for people, especially to remember their cultures, because there are so many generations that are being born in Europe. So in order to make them remember their culture, the church has been very advanced for us to grow the children with their root of their families. So the church is one of the place where people would really remember their hometown. So that's all I can say as an elite.
And also myself, I have been invited many times to both of the Ethiopian Orthodox churches in Vienna. So and having been many times to Ethiopia as well, I can totally agree with what you say. Even for me myself, I got this impression immediately, like I'm going to Ethiopia. The whole impression was like this. And last year we had a commemoration of the first state visit to Austria of Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie I. And that was also commemorated by both Ethiopian churches. But there I also noticed, and it was also brought to my attention, that also in the church, it was in St. Stephen Cathedral, Stephansdom in Austria, the biggest cathedral in Austria, also organized with the Department of African Studies at the University of Vienna, that there were also not only Ethiopian Orthodox, there was also Protestants, and there were even Muslims. So the church really brings together the Ethiopian communities, as we could see also for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And now going back to this celebration last year, the 70th anniversary of Emperor Haile Selassie I, there was a big community engagement with this celebration, as I just said, not just with the Orthodox Church, but also with different faiths in Ethiopia and also different groups. Maybe Hailu, you can give us also a little insight why this was important. You have now also started a petition to name a street in Vienna after Emperor Haile Selassie I. It would be the first street in Vienna with an Ethiopian name. And why was that important for the Ethiopian communities and such a big participation by the Ethiopian communities? We also had a symposium at the University of Vienna first, where both of you were speaking as well, and also family members of the family of Emperor Haile Selassie I as well. Why was that so important for the Ethiopian communities, so that you now even raise a petition to name a street in Vienna after Emperor Haile Selassie I?
Thank you. It's a good question. Well, let me take you back at that time. It was you who organized that event, and it was really a very good event, and that was the 17th year of His Majesty's visit to Austria, and he visited Austria not only to visit, he didn't came just to visit Austria, rather he put his prints, in a sense. It was just 9 years after the end of the World War II, 1954, there was not even flight in Austria or to Austria. And he came by train from Sweden, and he took this initiative, and he visited Austria, the first state head in history after the World War II. That is a big an important issue for us here, for the community too, that this courage inspired all Ethiopians and all Africans, I guess, and who love peace, equality, and for world stability. And this should be recognized by the Austrian government, I guess. That is a very important thing, and he didn't came only to visit, I said it, as I said it, but he helped also by then the Austrian people who were also in problem after the war, and he visited also the kindergarten of disabled children, which were highly discriminated by the war, of course, and all that gives a sense for someone like him to have a street named by him. And we have raised this issue, and we have asked the city of Vienna in last year, and unfortunately the answer was not appropriate to our request. It has been rejected. So we said this decision is incorrect, absolutely incorrect. It's not based on the history of His Majesty Haile Selassie. And we have to collect now a petition from the community, from all people who know the history of His Majesty, and that's what we are doing right now. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And also when Emperor Haile Selassie I visited Austria at that time, it was, of course, as we all discussed also at the symposium last year, there is also footage of that online, also by Africa Diaspora Culture Television as well, where we also mentioned that Haile Selassie was also defending Ethiopia against the Italian invasion in 1936 at the League of Nations, and that actually Austria back then was the first country to deny Ethiopia that right of defense against the aggressor at that time. And so when he came again in 1954, that was a very important gesture. And so that all of that plays together with the international importance. And it was interesting to see that it brought also the Ethiopian communities together, because as we also know, he did not only, as you mentioned, visit the kindergarten for children with disabilities, gave monetary gifts to the poor of Vienna, 100,000 Austrian shillings for the poor of Vienna, 25,000 shillings for the children with disabilities in the kindergarten, and so on. But he also gifted to the Stephansdom, the biggest cathedral in Austria, a 13th century cross, which is a cultural treasure. And then the Stephansdom worked together with the Ethiopian churches to make it possible to have a ceremony, a celebration at Stephansdom with the cross last year, as we said, which brought together different parts of the Ethiopian communities, even those who were not Orthodox, even those who were not Christians, even Muslims and others, because it was such a important event, not only in world history, but also, of course, for the Ethiopian communities in Vienna. Diakon Lisano, you were last year involved also with the cross, with the ceremony at Stephansdom. How did you experience that? Maybe you can give us your memories about it and why this was important to have the ceremony with the cross and have this cross bringing together all different parts of the Ethiopian communities in Vienna.
Okay, interesting question again. So the cross, well, I was also presented at that moment. We also did a prayer with the church fathers, with the priestess. And the main thing that the King Haile Selassie, when they visited Austria in 1954, so they brought this cross. So I also mentioned last year on my speech that the cross is that brings peace and unity, especially for Christians. The given to us by Jesus Christ in that cross gives us the unity with Him and the peace that we get from Him on that definitely cross. So the cross given is one of gesture that it shows the wish and the hope to be in Austria. And this kind of such crosses are always used in big ceremonies in Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And it shows that the one biggest gift could be given is this one. So because the payment that was paid in that cross was not paid by any human being. So what the king did to give that is shows that the present is that brings peace, and it was given to the church, the Catholic Church, one of the biggest church in Austria. And at that moment, when I see the prayers and also the people, how they were united, it gives me very a unique experience, because since I was new to Austria and never get to see the chance to see how big, huge community there is. So that day I've seen a lot of Ethiopians gather in one united plan and one united event. And this event shows us that that could bring that. This is the main thing of what King Haile Selassie also wanted to us to do, because they want us to be united in the name of communities and being helpful to one another, and always commemorate the good things about life, and also to be also gathered to make sure a common sense thing. That's what we did in that church, because we united and we remember their present, and we also prayed in to show that it has a huge meaning to Austrians, also to Ethiopians. The relation that we have, both together, can just pass histories, and it did. And because of you did a very interesting and you did unbreakable things. You unleash the chance and because it will never stop, because now the generation of this new generation would see and wants to continue this, because this whole thing is to address the new coming generation, that what happened in Austria and what our King Haile Selassie did in Austria. So it's one of extraordinary moment for me.
Mm-hmm. And it also involved back then the Austrian bishops as well. It was not just the Ethiopian priest, it was also the bishop from the cathedral itself, and he also spoke on it. He also said that he was very impressed by the history, by how Austria was actually letting down Ethiopia during the invasion by fascist Italy during the time of Mussolini, and then how when Haile Selassie came again, he showed this grand gesture of all the gifts he gave, and one of them was the cross. So that also this year again, the Ethiopian Orthodox churches are again invited again for the commemoration of the visit of Emperor Haile Selassie I to Austria in 1954, which will this year be the 71st anniversary then. And it will be on the 20th of November. It is, like last time, open to everyone, not just Ethiopian Orthodox, as we said. Many parts of the Ethiopian communities took part, but also from the Austrian public. Many people took part. There was a great interest in it. And so that's why now also we can understand the importance to the Ethiopian communities, also the global importance, the petition that is carried, that you initiated, but it is carried by all the Ethiopian communities. You showed me how many people have already signed it throughout the Ethiopian communities. As I said, not only Ethiopian Orthodox, but also Muslims and Protestants and others. As well, and so those also Austrians have signed it. There is petitions going around in the different communities. If viewers would like to sign it, there is now an initiative to also put it online. It is not yet online, but for example, there is also a physical petition that can be signed at the Ethiopian restaurant Lalibela in Vienna. So people can go there, have a delicious meal, and have the extra benefit of signing the petition if they want to contribute. There are not so many streets in Vienna with African names, and especially not one yet with Ethiopian name. And Emperor Haile Selassie was the last emperor of Ethiopia, and he had a very important world impact, as we know. And it's interesting how the Ethiopian communities rally around that, and also to bring it closer to Austrians. Also with the church, to see that, because that is one of the oldest churches, probably the oldest churches in the world. The Armenian church is also very old. So to have the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and have this opportunity on the 28th of November this year again, for everyone who wants to come to Stephansdom, it will be at 5 p.m. in the afternoon to witness Ethiopian Orthodox ceremony, but to say also an Ethiopian celebration in general, because as we said, not only Orthodox were attending it.
I think when it comes to petition, why we need to collect petitions, both Austrians and non-Austrians, Africans, or even Ethiopians who have questions about His Majesty Haile Selassie. His Majesty was a figure of decolonization of Africa and a symbol of peace, equality, and even inspired so many African leaders like Nelson Mandela This should be recognized. By then, many African leaders were also very engaged in founding the Organization of African Unity, like Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana, like Julius Nyerere from Tanzania, and Jomo Kenyatta, I guess, from Kenya, and those Keita from Mali, and this very famous Julius Nyerere, of course I mentioned it, they all were inspired by his movement. In this context, he has seen that forgiving in a sense, those countries like Austria who have collaborated with the fascist Italy and sent their soldiers even to that extent, and broke the law of the League of Nations, even though Ethiopia was also a member of the League of Nations 3 years after the founding of League of Nations, 1923. 1920, League of Nations has been founded, and 3 years later has joined Ethiopia. And they broke that law. And even though it happened like that way, Haile Selassie came here and forgiven all that. And this is a big forgiveness diplomacy. He taught us that you have to just forget and let's start peace and let's look forward. So, a leader like that should be recognized. Not only here, all over the world. It's not only Vienna. I mean, in Africa there are a lot of big cities who have named streets after his Majesty Haile Selassie. So we ask kindly the government of Vienna, city of Vienna, to look again and to recorrect their decisions. They gave us reasons, we know it, and it is really, it has nothing to do with the truth. By the way, he reigned from 1930 to 1974, just 1 year after his first power. 1931, he introduced the first constitution in history in Ethiopia. And he revised that constitution in 1955. Look, in 1974, he wanted even more democratic constitution to present, but unfortunately, he has been overthrown by the military junta. So, these are the realities about him. In the time when he came to Austria, nobody had the courage to visit Austria that time, and he was the first state of head. And by then, Austria was divided into 4, and governed, even Vienna was governed by 4 allied forces: British, USA, Russians, and France. You couldn't get from Florstov to the center of the city without any permission. This is the courage that we say you have to respect this courage. He came, however, and recognized Austria as a sovereign, independent state, and it didn't took long. After 6 months, Austria became independent. So this is more than enough to name a street after his name. These are the points why I want to actually
to talk
about.
The international importance, as well as you mentioned the decolonial importance as well all over the world, and the good works that he has done.
That would inspire all of us. That would inspire all love, peace people, Africans, and Austrians too.
And that's why he's a symbol for all of that still today, and it would be, it would be fitting to have a street named after him.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. This was a very interesting talk today with representatives from the Ethiopian communities. Thank you very much that you came. Thank you very much everyone who has tuned in and has shown interest in this topic. And as we said, those who want to experience the Ethiopian communities and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church physically, you can do so on the 28th of November at Stephansdom at 5 p.m. To witness and experience Ethiopian community celebration. And also those who would like to sign the petition for the street named after Emperor Haile Selassie I in Vienna can do so at Lalibela Ethiopian restaurant in Vienna. Thank you very much.
By the way, there are also two restaurants at the Wenningerstrasse 2, I guess. We will try also to collect the petitions on both
from both restaurants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey now, arise, arise, arise. So they're looking for a reason to justify all the evil deeds and their wicked lies. They want to kill I cause I dare to criticize.